Welcome back to TCM. I'm Dave Karger. All afternoon, we've been celebrating the 4th of July with a lineup of patriotic movie musicals. Up next, we're headed to the fictional small town of River City, Iowa, for an adaptation of a wildly successful Broadway show. From Warner Brothers in 1962, Robert Preston and Shirley Jones star in The Music Man. Preston plays Harold Hill, a charismatic con man who travels around the Midwest posing as a music professor, although he doesn't know how to teach or even play a note of music. He sells marching band instruments and uniforms to unsuspecting parents and then skips town with the money before he can deliver on his promise to teach their kids how to play. But his usual scheme is foiled when he arrives in River City and meets a shrewd librarian, played by Shirley Jones, who sees right through him. The Music Man first wowed audiences as a big hit on Broadway in 1957. It ran for nearly 1,400 performances and won 6 Tony Awards, including for Best Musical. The original cast recording also won the first ever Grammy for Best Original Cast Album, Broadway or TV. The musical was conceived and written by Meredith Willson, who wrote it as an homage to his childhood spent growing up at the turn of the 20th century in Mason City, Iowa. As a kid, Wilson played the flute and piccolo, and early in his career, he performed as a member of John Philip Sousa's band. The Music Man combined his memories of his Midwestern hometown and his experiences as a band musician. Prior to this, Wilson had written incidental music for Broadway, film, and radio, but this was the first musical he ever composed. He had a hard time getting producers to stick with the project, but with the help of his mentor, composer Frank Lesser, he finally brought the show to Broadway, where it became an enormous hit and gave Robert Preston the biggest break of his career. Preston's magnetic performance on stage won him the Tony Award, and it's one of my favorite performances in any movie musical. From director Morton DaCosta in 1962, also with Buddy Hackett, Hermione Gingold, Paul Ford, Pert Kelton, and little Ronnie Howard, now known, of course, as filmmaker Ron Howard, here is The Music Man. Like the Broadway production, the film adaptation of The Music Man was a big hit with critics and audiences when it premiered in 1962. It also garnered 6 Oscar nominations, including one for Best Picture. It won for Ray Heindorf's adapted score. But despite its success, this turned out to be one of only 3 theatrical movies that producer-director Morton DaCosta ever made. DaCosta began his career as an actor on Broadway in the 1940s, and in the 50s, he distinguished himself as a director of several Broadway hits, including Auntie Mame and The Music Man. He ventured to Hollywood to adapt those 2 productions for the big screen, and then made just one more film, the 1963 comedy Island of Love, which also starred Robert Preston. Coming up, it's time for this week's 2-for-1 double feature. 17-time Oscar-nominated songwriter Diane Warren joins Ben Mankiewicz with her 2 picks, starting with a 1966 family biopic that won 2 Oscars for its music. Stay with us.
Next on TCM, Born Free, then A Hard Day's Night, and later Angel Face. Looks can be deceiving on Noir Alley tonight.